Hi, and welcome to Lesson 1 of Module 4. In this lesson, I will guide you through the process of making simple Illustrator pattern swatches. The aim of pattern repeat swatches is to create seamless, continuous pattern fills. I'll quickly undock the swatches panel from the other panels here, as it will be easier to work with these open now. I'll just remind you of the different swatch types we have. We did this in Module 2, Lesson 1. At the bottom of the swatches panel, we have this icon here. Listed under this are the different swatch types. We will be working with the pattern swatches. You can see that Illustrator also has some default pattern swatches. The concepts I'll introduce you to here will be used in Lesson 2 when we look at how to make pattern repeats using Photoshop. I'll start this section by explaining to you how a repeat pattern works. First up, we'll have a look at the stripe. Can you see how I only have two rectangles of color here, one navy and one gray? This is the full repeat that I require. You can see that there is no gap between the rectangles, and they are both completely in line on the left and right sides. I only want the two colors in the stripe, and I want them to repeat continuously and seamlessly, much like the pattern brush. Have a look at this in a filled rectangle. We'll do this together now. I'll first create a rectangle 30 mm by 5 mm with a fill only. So that means no stroke at all. I'll copy this down once using a 5 mm keyboard increment. I've used the keyboard shortcut Alt-Option to copy and the keyboard down arrow to do this. I'll put the second color in here. Very simple. Both rectangles are the same width and they must butt up against each other. No overlapping. I'll select both of these rectangles and drag them to the swatches panel. Can you see the addition symbol here? When I release the mouse, the new swatch has been loaded into the panel. And here the repeat is. Now this spot. I have created this spot to illustrate how a repeat is constructed. This is an offset pattern repeat. We can see this by the diagonal repeating of the spot. For it to repeat seamlessly, we must know the size of the repeat, or the background square. Mine is 30 mm by 30 mm. I have created this repeat and made the motifs that fall outside the square contrasting colors. So essentially, the spot on the corner is one motif, the spots at the top and the bottom are one motif, and the left and right are one motif. Do you see when I fill this rectangle with a repeat, the center of the square remains unchanged. That's the white spot. The spots on the top and the bottom, left and right of the square, are only showing half of each color. And the spot in the corner shows 1/4 of each color. I've used a repeat construction called offset to create this pattern. This is important to understand, as this information will be used in Lesson 2 when we use Photoshop to offset texture swatches and make them repeat seamlessly. Offset and seamlessly. Both of these are key search words. Let's have a look at this again. But this time, I've made the corner motifs one color, the top and bottom motifs one color, and the left and right motifs the same color as each other. When you see the pattern repeat filling an object, can you see how each color is only one motif? Now, we'll do this together. First, I'll draw a square with the rectangle tool, 30 mm by 30 mm. I draw an ellipse 10 by 10 mm and another ellipse 5 by 5 mm. I'll align the first 10mm circle in the middle of the square. I'll copy this and align it to the corner now. Can you see when I place my selection tool, the black arrow in the center of the circle, the word center will appear. I'll click now to select the circle and hold the Alt Option key down and drag this to one of the corners of the square. When I have the center of the circle aligned with the corner anchor point, the arrow turns white. I release the cursor now. I now change the keyboard increment to be the same size as the background square, 30mm. And I'll copy the circle to the other 3 corners using the Alt Option key to copy and the keyboard direction arrows to move these down, to the left and up again. I'll place the 5mm circle in the center of the top edge of the square and copy this to the bottom edge. I'll do the same on the left and copy this to the right. Now I need to contain this repeat, as there are motifs that fall outside the background repeat square. To do this, I'll select the background square and copy this to the front. You will know these shortcut keys by heart by now. Command or Control C to copy and Command or Control F to paste to the front. Let's change the color of the fill and arrange to bring this all the way to the top of the motifs. Remove the fill now and select everything. I'll now use the crop option in the Pathfinder panel. This will crop all the overhanging motifs that fall outside the square. Have a look here. The pattern tile is now ready to drag into the swatches panel. Let's have a look at this pattern repeat. The check repeat runs on the same principles as the stripe. I've drawn 2 lots of stripe configurations. Have a look here. I have 2 squares, one with the stripes running horizontally and the other with them running vertically. I group each of these sets of stripes and make sure they are the same size in height and width as each other. I've made mine square, but you can have any size. The only thing is to be sure to make both sets of stripe the same width and height. I'll select both sets of stripes and center vertical and horizontal align them. Now that one set is on top of the other, I'll reduce the opacity of the top set to 50%. And we have a simple yarn dye check. Let's see how this looks in a repeat. Now, to change the color of these pattern repeats, I'm going to use the same method I used when I changed the plaited brush color. I'll be using the color wheel or the edit color option to do these all at the same time. First, I'll prepare some color chips with the new colors and place them below my 3 swatches. I'll select all 3 swatches and the new color chips and either access the color wheel in the option bar or go to the Edit drop-down menu, Edit Colors, Recolor Artwork. A dialog box will appear. Here, I simply click onto the colors and switch them to the new combination. If I want to change the white, I will first have to make it editable. Have a look at how I do this. Once I've changed the colors I wanted to change and accepted this, the new colors are automatically uploaded into the swatches panel. Remember how the plaited brush automatically uploaded to the brushes panel once we changed those colors. You can even do this when the fill is already in the shoe. So to conclude, I've made use of a combination of information learned in all the modules to date to create these pattern repeat swatches. I have given you an overview of how these swatches are created and the structure of an offset pattern repeat. Can you see the similarity between these pattern repeat swatches and the pattern brushes in Module 3? The concept is very similar. In Lesson 2 of this module, I will introduce you to the Photoshop workspace and to the way I use Photoshop to create seamless pattern tiles when we have an image that is a photograph of a texture. We will also discuss photo resources and search terms to find what you want. I will upload this pattern swatch file for you in Lesson 2. And as always, if you have any queries, please don't hesitate to ask me. I am here for you.